Hey ho und willkommen zurück zu Let's Play Genshin Impact WM21:9 und ihr habt leider etwas verpasst in der letzten Folge, denn zum Zeitpunkt, wo ich dieses Video gedreht habe, kam Version 4.0 raus, was mich ehrlich gesagt sehr überrascht hatte, weil wir uns erst bei 3.8 befanden. Und ja, da haben wir erstmal durchgeguckt, was gibt es denn für neue Missionen. Wir haben einen Probelauf gemacht und oi, das sollt ihr euch auf jeden Fall reinziehen, denn Lyney, das ist einer der Charaktere, die wir testen konnten, ist extrem overpowered. Also wirklich dafür, dass dieser Charakter erst Level 80 ist, die Talente nur Stufe 8 ist, Sternbild 0, boah, als wäre das nichts, diese 24.000 Schaden, what the hell? Aber gut. Schaut euch das in Ruhe an, dann wisst ihr Bescheid. Wir haben auch neue Sachen entdecken können, direkt in diesem Tutorial, was dann eingeblendet wird. Genau, wir haben das ja erst noch mal ganz kurz geguckt. Beim Tutorial bei der Karte war es halt so, dass es jetzt scheinbar so eine Unterseekarte oder so ein Höhlenkartensystem-Ding, aber das ist irgendwie, ich weiß nicht. Also wenn man hier guckt, ist natürlich noch nichts aufgedeckt. Das wollen wir in dieser Episode versuchen zu erreichen. Wenn man aber hier zum Beispiel guckt, in Sumeru, das war das Beispiel gewesen, ist hier noch nichts eingeblendet. Und hier fehlen uns halt auf jeden Fall ein paar Symbole, weil hier steht zum Beispiel Quelle allen Wassers, großer See in Fontaine. Also ist das schon mal was Separates. Und ansonsten Dehya halt, ne? Also, ja, gut. Genug geredet, wir wollen auf jeden Fall eine Story Fortschritte machen, die wir jetzt auch anfangen werden. Dafür sollen wir zum Karawanenribat reisen. Ich bin mal gespannt, auf wen wir treffen werden. Ich kann mir gut vorstellen, dass es Yelan ist. Wir haben auch einen neuen Charakter im Team. Ich habe halt die Namen absolut noch gar nicht drauf. Und zwar Lynette. War auch im Probelauf drin gewesen, aber ja, ich weiß nicht. Also irgendwie so, ja, hat mich noch nicht ganz überzeugt. Aber gut, da hatte ich aber auch gesagt, vielleicht andere Artefakten, je nachdem, oder was man noch entdecken kann, weil es war ja nur ein einziges Artefaktenset, was wir sozusagen getestet haben bei dem jeweiligen Charakter. Und ja, mal schauen. So, eine Sache würde ich auf jeden Fall noch gucken, wenn wir landen. Denn da hatte ich was gesehen. Ich bin nicht sicher, ob es Leaks sind oder ob die jetzt wirklich eingeführt worden sind. Das Menü, wenn man Charaktere auswählen möchte. Also wenn man hier auf L drückt. Ja, es sieht tatsächlich anders aus. Ja, irgendwie ist es noch ein bisschen leicht verpixelt hier. Müsste man gucken, ob das ein Bug ist. Was können wir machen? Zum Beispiel 5-Sterne-Charakter. Genau. Wenn man nämlich die Charaktere anklickt, sind das sozusagen Teile der Ulti so ein bisschen, was sie machen. Aber gut, dass sie das auch eingeführt haben. Wie sieht es denn bei der neuen aus? Da. Ja, genau, so wie die Ulti im Endeffekt. Okay, gut, dann haben sie es auf jeden Fall eingeführt. So, einmal hier hin. Einmal hier hoch. Sehen wir da schon jemanden? Nein? Ah, vielleicht ist es auch ein komplett neuer Charakter, der uns begegnet.
The first time we came here. Oh, Paimon remembers! Nahida's consciousness had been trapped by the doctor, but we followed the clues she left behind to help her.
Na, das stimmt nicht ganz. Das war halt der Arkenauftrag Folge 670, kurz vorher, kurz nachher. Legendenauftrag von Nahida hatten wir mal gemacht und noch etwas. Da gab es noch eine Mission hier. Oder vielleicht sind wir bei einem Spaziergang in die Wüste an diesen Ort gelangt?
So much time has already passed since then. And it seems Sumeru's changing for the better now that Nahida's in charge, right? Paimon just hopes this peace will last a long time. And then Nahida won't have any more new problems to deal with.
Solange wir noch in der Gegend sind, ist das schwer vorherzusagen.
Yeah, guess you're right. We somehow always find ourselves right in the thick of it. Who knows what will happen next? Come to think of it, maybe it's all because of you. Maybe you're just a magnet for trouble.
Ich dachte, du wärst der Magnet.
Huh? Me? Before Paimon ran into you, Paimon never ran into any trouble. At most, when she was super tired, Paimon got caught in some strange whirlpool and sucked out into sea. And even then, you fished Paimon out. Anyway, for Nahida's sake, maybe we should think about heading to our next destination for now.
Zeit nach Fontaine aufzubrechen. Jetzt geht es ja zum Glück.
Ah, look who it is. Running into you in a place like this? I can see you two still love wandering around.
Oh, it's Dehya! Since when are we just though it may have nothing to do with our journey. But never mind that. What brings you here?
I just finished a commission in the desert for a usual client of mine. Nothing too interesting. Just escorting a shipment of goods. I'm on my way to report back. That's when I saw you two all the way over there, chatting away. What were you two talking about anyway?
Nun, wir werden Sumeru bald verlassen und uns auf den Weg nach Fontaine machen.
Huh? You serious? Can't say I saw that coming. But you are travelers after all. I guess you'd never stay for too long in one place. Bumping into you like this will become a rarity. I'm starting to feel sad just thinking about it. Hey, how about I gather a few mercs to escort you two? What do you say?
Thanks, but no need. Oh, Paimon had no clue you'd miss us so much. But don't worry, we'll come back to see everyone when we get a chance.
Sounds good. All you need to do to get to Fontaine is cross this stretch of desert and navigate some waterways. Knowing you two, I'm sure it won't be anything you can't handle. So, when are you leaving?
Naja, genau jetzt.
Oh, wait a sec. Paimon just remembered there are still a few dishes in Sumeru that Paimon hasn't tried yet. Now, where's that list Paimon made?
I see. Guess you won't be needing a going-away party or anything. It's sad enough to see you go like this. Though, now that I think about it, Sumeru wouldn't be what it is today without you. Seems true heroes always prefer leaving quietly.
By the way, should we go say bye to Nahida?
Nahida kann auch in Träumen von unserem Abreise erfahren, oder?
Oh, good point. Then there's no need to bother her in the real world.
Then, I guess this is goodbye for now, Traveler in Paimon. Whether as a client or a friend, you're always welcome to come find me.
Mach's gut, wir sehen uns definitiv nochmal, Dehya.
Goodbye, Dehya. Bye-bye, Sumeru.
Ich hätte gedacht, wir reisen selber dorthin, weil man hat auf der Karte ganz klar gesehen, dass es hier einen Weg gibt. Genau, hier an der Barsum-Höhen. Dann endete den Weg, weil da gab es halt nichts mehr so großartig zu erkunden. Und jetzt seht ihr, hier ist ja ein Weg, der aus einer Höhle rausragt. Hier ist noch ein Teleporter. Wundert mich ein bisschen, dass der nicht mitgenommen worden ist, weil der muss ja auch neu sein. Na komm schon, lasst mich die Marker nicht immer setzen müssen. So. So. Ach, das hat er mitgenommen, diesen Teleporter. Ich dachte, das ist vielleicht schon geused, aber naja, gut. Bevor wir dorthin gehen, ganz wichtig, ich würde gerne diesen einen Teleporter mitnehmen wollen. Einfach damit man den hat, falls man nochmal reisen muss, auch wenn hier ein Teleporter ist. Dafür kriegt man meines Wissens noch auch ein bisschen Urgestein. Aha. Ah. Wartet mal, war der vorher wirklich schon da gewesen? Ich glaube nämlich echt nicht. Ah, das heißt, wir müssen nochmal dorthin, weil das ist ja auch sehr surreal und die Karte oben links hat sich verändert. Wartet mal. Ah, interessant. Interessant, definitiv. Gut, nehmen wir den anderen Weg. Ich würde einmal hier laufen, den aktivieren, dann hin teleportieren und dann endlich nach Fontaine reisen. Weil es sollte auf jeden Fall unser Ziel sein, so viele Teleporter wie möglich am Anfang zu aktivieren. Ist halt auch einfacher und bequemer dann, falls es Missionen gibt, die da in der Nähe sind. Genau, das haben wir auch schon mal gemacht mit Version 3.6, wo dieser Teil rauskam. Haben wir auch schon durchgespielt. Sehr zu empfehlen, wenn ihr hier oben rechts auf das E-Symbol klickt beim YouTube-Player. Da kommt ihr nämlich auf die Plays und könnt euch alles nochmal in Ruhe anschauen. Denn der Schwerpunkt liegt ja eh weniger auf das Farm, wobei Farm hier auch natürlich nötig ist. sondern mehr auf die Storyline. Ich merke das halt immer wieder, wenn ich irgendwie einen YouTube-Titel mache, zum Beispiel die Ordensschwester von so und so, dass ich da sehr viele Klicks kriege, weil einfach gar keine Ahnung hatte, wer diese Person sein soll. Oder mit Anna, die Medizin, wo es halt 2 Tagesmissionen und Mondstadt zusammenhängt. Irgendwie keine Art Plan davon. Ich denke mir so, ey, was macht die denn die ganze Zeit? Wobei bei den Streamern muss man sagen, die kann man halt nicht ernst nehmen, die nehmen das Game nämlich auch nicht ernst. Also irgendwie habe ich so den Eindruck, immer so am Zwischenquatschen bei Dialogen und alles, und ich versuche halt genau das halt eben nicht zu machen. So, meins. 5 Uhr Gestein, genau. Ich war mir nicht sicher, ob 5 oder 10. So, das heißt diesen Teleporter. Und dann natürlich kommen wir auf unsere 1000 Episoden. Bötchen könnten wir nehmen. Das ist ja ein riesengroßer Aufzug. Ich meine, warum gibt es auch einen Zug, ne? Also sowas in der Art sieht das zumindest halt aus, wie so ein Schienensystem, wenn ihr wisst, was ich meine. Haben wir hier schon irgendwelche Gegner? Ja, hier scheint keine zu sein. Das muss aber nichts... Auch da, Village. Ah, sehr gut. Maskenfarmen easy, wa? Die wir unbedingt benötigen. Da ist etwas. Müssen wir gucken, ob wir hier irgendwas Interessantes finden. Möhren. Natürlich. Naja, gut. Hätte ja sein können, dass es was Neues ist. In Anführungszeichen Exotisches. Weil den kennt man. Holla. Ach, das hat sich schon verzogen. Ja. Naja. Wir wollen ja nicht unnötig Schaden erleiden. Gibt es das gleiche Boot wie immer? Ja, okay, hätte ja sein können, irgendwie getuned, anderes Holz, Material, wie auch immer. Aber Moment mal, links konnte ich ja nur bis hier ungefähr fahren, weil da war ja so eine Art Wasserfall, wenn ich es richtig gesehen habe, hier am Horizont. Na gut, die werden eh jetzt mit jeder Version auf jeden Fall Teil der Karte hinzufügen, haben sie hier in der Wüste ja auch gemacht. Macht auch durchaus Sinn, ehrlich gesagt. Und ich hoffe, die Events werden nicht zu krass. Ah, da ist ein... Okay, jetzt müssen wir gucken. Ist das ein Hydrokoloss? Nennt man die denn so? So, was sagt das Ding? Hydrokoloss. Okay, gut, war auch ein bisschen sehr offensichtlich. Zack. Hier hin.
After crossing all that sand and water, we finally made it! Oh, this must be Fontaine's port. Wow, everything looks so advanced in Fontaine. Paimon's heard that the industry here is extremely developed, and there are all kinds of unusual machines.
Es ist beeindruckender, als ich es mir vorgestellt habe, ganz ehrlich. Also es hat wirklich dieses Bioshock-Flair, hier dieses dritte Teil von Bioshock Infinite so ein bisschen. Finde ich zumindest halt. So sieht das halt auch aus und so weiter.
Just seeing the sights as a tourist is nice, but maybe it would be better if we found something to do. What do you think?
Besuchen wir als erstes den Hydro-Arken. Naja, da solltet ihr auf jeden Fall die Playlist anschauen, als wir auf dieses Sommer-Mirage-Event waren. Denn da hatte Dehya uns etwas über den Hydro-Arken so nebenbei erwähnt und deswegen bin ich gespannt, wer tatsächlich das... Oh, wie cute. What the hell ist das dann? Ist das eine Polizistin oder... Ach, wie cool.
Good idea! Nahida gave us loads of useful information. Seeking out the Seven is probably still our best source for information at this point.
Wir machen diese Reise, um meinen Bruder zu finden und um nach der Wahrheit zu suchen.
Yeah, the more we can learn, the better. So, what do you think the Hydro Archon's like? Will we get along? Nahida said that she has a very unique personality, whatever that means. To learn about a nation's god, start with the nation's people. There seems to be some locals talking over there. Let's go see if we can join the party.
If you ask me, it's a tragedy how things ended for him. Clearly, he was a pretty decent person.
Yeah, I didn't expect that kind of ending for him. I thought he would at least fight on a little longer for his family. I was expecting a sudden plot twist, but it's a pity that it never happened. Still, his story is quite the tearjerker.
Excuse me. Can I help you two? I couldn't help but notice you standing here listening.
Hi. We're travelers new to Fontaine, and we had something we wanted to ask, but you seem to be really busy talking about some kind of play, so we didn't want to interrupt.
Play? Oh, no. We're talking about something that really happened. In fact, it's a case that was just heard a few days ago.
Really? Like, a real trial? But the way you were talking about it and the words you used just now made it sound like some kind of story.
Well, good tales are often based on true stories, aren't they? And what you see in reality may also be someone deliberately putting on an act while harboring ulterior motives. Whether something is true or not simply isn't that important. The main thing is whether the story being acted out on the stage is splendid enough. Oh, but it looks like you're not from around here. You probably don't know that the Fontaine Court of Justice is called the Opera Epiclese, or more commonly known as just the Opera House.
Also werden die Verhandlungen als eine Art Oper betrachtet.
But, shouldn't court cases be treated a little more seriously than that? Not to question Fontaine's way of doing things, it's just that putting someone on trial is usually a very serious thing.
No worries. Other visitors to Fontaine have wondered the same thing. You could say that we just don't want to waste the moving stories behind those cases. And as for your worries about whether the cases are treated with due reverence, we have the absolutely just and honorable Chief Justice Neuvillette, as well as the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal, a machine created by the Archon. Between the machine and the Chief Justice, false charges and injustice are a thing of the past now.
Eine von der Göttin des Wassers erschaffene gerichtliche Vorrichtung? Ist das das legendäre Land der Gerechtigkeit? Merkwürdig.
Oratrice? Is it some kind of machine too? Oh, Paimon's curious. We should check it out if we get the chance. Wait, Paimon almost forgot to ask you our question. Do you know what we should do if we want to meet the Hydro Archon?
Oh, that's easy. Just go to the Opera House. Lady Farina practically lives there. You could definitely say it's her biggest passion.
I think what they mean is that they wish to speak with the Archon personally. In that case, I'm afraid it's going to be a tad more difficult. You'll have to make an appointment well in advance, and it'll depend on whether or not she has any time slots available.
Zunächst mal, ich weiß nicht, ob das euch gerade aufgefallen ist, vor 10, 15 Sekunden, aber wenn ihr hier unten rechts mal achtet und zum Dialog zurückscrollt, da steht eine alte Bekannte, die hatten wir in einem Probelauf kennengelernt, aber jedenfalls im Voraus anmelden, Zeitplan? Ja gut, fair enough, ganz ehrlich.
Huh. Is the Hydro Archon super busy taking care of official stuff? Wait, didn't you say that she's always at the Opera House?
No. Lady Farina seldom takes an interest with the nation's affairs. The reason it's difficult to make an appointment is simply because she's incredibly popular.
That's right. After all, she is the Archon. Though she may tend to get a little dramatic from time to time, people can't get enough of her.
Huh. First time Paimon's ever heard of an Archon being described that way before. Wait! Paimon gets it now! The Hydro Archon is kinda like a big celebrity here, right?
Yeah, I suppose you could say that. Perhaps you could even say our mascot.
Hang on. This is still Fontaine's Archon you're talking about. You should show some more respect.
Yes, you're right. I guess I should at least try to be a little more respectful in front of visitors. Otherwise, I might get arrested and find myself face to face with Monsieur Neuvillette.
Come on. Sure, there's a lot of laws here, but nobody's going to be arrested for saying something disrespectful about the Hydro Archon.
Die Einwohner von Fontaine scheinen den Hydro-Archon sehr zu mögen. Dennoch scheint es ihnen ein wenig an Ehrfurcht zu fehlen.
Alright, I think we get it. Thank you! At least we now know that we can find the Hydro Archon at the Opera House. But who knows how long making an appointment will take? Guess we could have a look around the city in the meantime. Hey, what are you looking over there for?
Das Mädchen dort drüben, Sie steht dort schon eine ganze Weile ganz alleine rum.
Huh. Maybe something's the matter. She isn't going to jump into the water, is she? Maybe we better go check on her.
Präludium von Blanqueur Neu... Alter, diese Namen, Französisch und so weiter, hatte ich nie gehabt. Aber das ist das, was ich meinte. Sie steht wirklich schon die ganze Zeit da und ja. Ach, diese Polizisten, irgendwie voll cute. So wie Chi-Chi, nur irgendwie, ja, halt in blau, ne? Wie die auch läuft. Naja, gut. Fragen wir sie mal. Boah, das ist echt tief hier. Naja.
Hello there. Excuse me. Are you alright?
Huh? I'm fine. Thanks.
Oh, okay then. We just noticed that you seem to be worried about something.
About many things, actually. But there's nothing I can do but just keep my troubles to myself. I was just reminiscing about a place my brother and I would play when we were kids. It was just atop that hill over there. See?
You're pointing at the sea. Wait, are you saying that you and your brother lived in the water?
Seid ihr diese besondere Wasserwesen aus Fontaine?
No people call the waters around Fontaine a sea. It's actually just an inland lake that's filled with fresh water. And no, I can still see that hill clearly in my memories. Now, it's been completely submerged. He would skip and jump, tossing sand in the wind. The sun shone brightly, and the air was filled with the scent of the sea. But now, the water is gradually swallowing our memories. It won't be long before it swallows us.
Sorry. Paimon doesn't really get what you mean.
I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting. Are you Lynette's new friends?
Oh, and you are?
Thanks for looking after my sister. She often comes here to reminisce about our childhood, that's all. There's no need for any concern. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Lyney, and this is my sister Lynette. If I had to guess, I'd say you must be travelers from abroad.
Nice to meet you. Paimon is Paimon, and this is the Traveler. We just arrived in Fontaine. We were just talking with your sister. Even though we didn't really get what she was saying.
I see. It's unusual for Lynette to be so willing to talk with anyone. In fact, she seldom speaks at all. I'm usually the only one she ever talks to.
Oh, really? Then you two are just like us. Paimon's always the one talking for some reason.
Du sprichst ja die ganze Zeit für mich, Paimon. Weil du mir die Worte aus dem Mund stiehlst. Beide Antworten sehr realistisch, aber ich würde das erste nehmen.
So that's how you think it is?
I also think my brother can be too talkative at times.
Seems you were right, Paimon. We are quite similar.
So, what did Lynette mean just now when she said that the water is engulfing your memories, and that it won't be long before it engulfs you too?
Oh, that. It's from a prophecy that's been circulating in Fontaine for some time now. Well, I suppose prophecy isn't exactly the right word, because that implies a certain amount of uncertainty. There's no doubt about what's happening in Fontaine now.
Was geht denn vor sich?
Where to begin? Let's put that question on hold for a moment. We still haven't formally greeted each other yet, have we?
Did all the introductions earlier not count?
Hello, traveler.
Das ist irgendwie merkwürdig, warum er das Thema so abrupt, ausweichen wollte. Aber hallo Lynette, schön dich kennenzulernen.
And hello, Paimon.
Hey! Why didn't Paimon get a handshake? You're not poking fun at Paimon, are you?
Please, don't take offense. Just consider it a sort of etiquette we have here in Fontaine when making new friends. You should remember it. It might prove useful.
Oh, all right then. Well, Paimon's just happy to have a local friend now. By the way, we were just getting ready to go to the Opera House to meet the Hydro Archon. Would you be able to show us the way?
So you're going to see Lady Farina? No problem at all. In fact, I was planning to go to the Opera House later myself. I'll gladly take you once I finish things here. Please follow me.
Ja, wohin willst du? Ich wollte sagen, das macht doch keinen Sinn, hier zurückzulaufen ins Wasser.
You said you were going to see Lady Farina? Well, it seems Lady Farina has come to see you.
So, she's the Hydro Archon? But how did she know we were looking for her?
My dear people, rich and poor, those with cup in hand and those with nothing at all, raise your glasses in celebration. If you don't have one, then just raise your hand in lieu. As you can all see, two unfamiliar travelers have arrived in our nation. Come, let us make a toast in honor of this traveler and her companion who have journeyed here from distant lands.
Is she talking about us?
Keiner hier scheint ein Glas zu halten.
I've long heard of the turmoil and chaos you've left in your wake as you visited other nations. But I welcome you nevertheless. No, I have come to receive you personally. Fear is for insignificant cowards. I am a god, and I will never entertain the notion of such meaningless wariness. You can be rest assured, I see clearly your sincerity. Of course, seeking an audience with me is the most sensible thing to do. It will allow you to truly behold my power and witness my authority. Intelligent people always gather under the correct banner. I, Thosalor, hereby welcome you to the nation of Hydro and acknowledge the value and significance of your trip. Now, you may rejoice in this.
Nun, zur Abwechslung war der Archon doch relativ einfach zu finden.
Yeah, Paimon still can't believe it. Feels like we've only been here for a few minutes. But the Hydro Archon's entrance was, how should Paimon describe it? A little over the top? Miss Hydro Archon? How did you know we were coming?
I see. As Outlanders, you inevitably lack even some of the most basic understanding. Don't forget that even the gods can be divided into the mediocre and the excellent. I suppose it's only natural for you to be awestruck by my abilities. You had best stop and consider. Do you really have the noble qualities and etiquette necessary to communicate with a god? All it takes is a flick of my finger for me to know everything about you.
Whoa, talk about sounding high and mighty.
So ein bisschen, aber ich finde die Augen cool, was so invertiert aussieht, so vom farblich so getauscht ist mit der Iris und der Pupille. Und jedenfalls, und betont ihren Status als Archon sehr gerne.
Oh? What's with these looks? Perhaps the welcoming ceremony still isn't enough? What else should I say then?
Ja, ich glaube, das ist einfach, weil es einfach nur übertrieben ist.
Is she waiting for us to start talking?
Wow, I didn't expect to see Lady Farina here. What a surprise! Wait, does this mean they're the legendary blonde traveler? How did I not notice before?
Hey, what's all the commotion? Oh, is that Lady Farina? Is there some kind of drama going on?
Of course. That's the blonde traveler. The one all those stories are about. Lady Farina came here to personally see her. Oh, I bet this is going to be the duel of the century.
Ooh, I've got to see this. I knew Lady Farina would never disappoint.
Yes, but don't get too excited now. My dear believers and spectators alike tend to get quite rowdy, and despite the noise, I've come to tolerate all their ruckus. You may consider this my reward to all of you. I have determined that there will be an epic duel between myself and this traveler from another land, just as you were hoping to see.
Now she wants to fight? Aren't we getting a little ahead of ourselves?
Dann zeig mir, was du kannst.
Are you not afraid? Might I remind you that this is a duel against the divine?
What are you trying to do, traveler? Provoking a god in front of her people?
Stand down, Clorend. I admire her bravery. Few have the courage to draw their sword against a god. She is obviously a true warrior. Unfortunately, people nowadays only crave to be thrilled, and a mere duel will not slake their thirst for excitement.
Oh, yeah, she's right. Just a duel wouldn't be all that interesting.
On Araneus, criminals are always requesting duels to defend their honor. They're getting a bit old, to tell the truth.
You see. Then, as the god of justice, I shall face this traveler in another kind of duel. A duel in court!
Oh, all right! Now that'll be worth seeing!
Right. This is Fontaine, after all. It's such a grand opera house, it would be a pity not to use it.
Why do you care so much about the crowd's reactions? Seems you've spent a little too much time in the opera house. Besides, how exactly do you plan to have a duel in court? You mean you're going to put us on trial?
Wir haben uns kein Verbrechen schuldig gemacht. Wir sind gerade erst hier angekommen.
Oh, we have reason to put you on trial. It's obvious, isn't it?
Offensichtlich, sagst du?
According to Fontaine law, no one is permitted to release any flying objects within Fontaine city limits during the first 3 days of each month. You are clearly guilty of violating this law, no?
Oh, so that's what they've done wrong. That's our Lady Farina. No one knows the laws of Fontaine like she does.
You call that obvious? What kind of law is that? Wait, flying object? You mean Paimon?
Genau, alles deine Schuld, Paimon.
Precisely! Now, if you two have no objections, then in the name of the Hydro Archon, I order your arrest.
My apologies, Lady Farina. I don't mean to spoil the fun, but if you would allow me to interject, I don't think that Paimon here meets the definition of a flying object.
You tell killer, Lyney! Finally someone who's not crazy. How could anyone call Paimon a flying object?
Ah, great magician Lyney, my beloved citizen. I'll permit you to object, but how exactly do you plan to prove your claim?
As a magician who just rained on your parade, I naturally should shoulder the responsibility of saving the show. So, with such an audience gathered here, allow me to perform a trick for everyone.
Ta-da!
What's that on Paimon's back? Hey, when did you do that?
In dem Moment, als
There. As you can all clearly see, Paimon should be classified as, well, something like a balloon. This rope has been in the traveler's hand all along. It was just that no one could see it before.
Huh? You call that magic? You've got to be joking.
I thought it was pretty good. Nice one.
Huh. I'm not sure what to think. It seems Lady Furina's charges no longer hold water.
Amusing. Very amusing, Lyney. Just the sort of unexpected twist that I enjoy. With you here, today's performance can finally be called complete.
Performance? You see all this as a performance?
In which case, consider the matter of your trial resolved. The god of justice will not bring charges against an innocent person. But when there are valid grounds, I will not only judge travelers from abroad, but even the gods of other lands. I look forward to seeing your upcoming performance at the Opera House, Mr. Lyney and Miss Lynette. That's enough for now. Toodaloo!
And just like that, she's gone. Well, that's the most unpredictable Archon Paimon's ever seen. We never even had a chance to ask her anything. But that's a problem for future Paimon. That whole scene just now was really...
Vielen Dank vorhin, Lyney. Du wusstest schon, dass es so ablaufen würde, oder?
Don't mention it. I just happened to remember that there was such a law, so I did a little preparation, just in case. I didn't think it would actually come in handy. So, now do you see what kind of god Lady Furina is?
She can be a bit confusing at times, but she is still amenable to reason.
Ja, es war gerade ziemlich verwirrend. Aber ich muss auch sagen, jetzt in den letzten ungefähr 35, 36 Minuten haben wir fast gar nichts erfahren, ehrlich gesagt. Also es war ja im Endeffekt eine riesenlange Cutscene. Das hätten sie vielleicht kürzen können für meinen Geschmack. Aber gut, ihr könnt in den Kommentaren schreiben, wie der erste Eindruck auf euch war. Aber jedenfalls ist sie dann wirklich vernünftig.
Anyway, Paimon had no idea you were a magician, Lyney. It sounded like you'll be performing at the Opera House, right?
I just know a few simple tricks I use to make a living. Lynette is my assistant. It will actually be my first time performing on the most prestigious stage in Fontaine, the Opera House.
But isn't the Opera House where criminal trials are held in Fontaine?
When there are no public trials being held, the Opera House hosts a variety of other performances. To the people of Fontaine, the line between a trial and a performance can be a little blurred. And speaking of performances, I would be remiss to forego this opportunity gifted by fate. Might I invite the two of you to see my performance?
My brother's always excited to make new friends.
Oh, sure. We don't really have anything to do now, and we wanted to go to the Opera House anyway.
Das wäre ein großes Vergnügen.
Splendid. In that case, why don't we go together? I'll show you the way. I just have something to take care of first.
Zögere nicht, mir Bescheid zu geben, wenn du Hilfe brauchst.
Oh, you really mean it? Then I'll take you up on your offer. This is a magical item known as a magic pocket. Perhaps you can help me distribute them to the people here.
Sieht eher wie so eine Tasche aus, so eine einfache.
Huh? What are they going to use it for?
About that. You asked me before about the prophecy, right? Let me start by telling you a little more about what it entails. I'm not sure exactly when it began, but a prophecy has been circulating around Fontaine. It says that every person in Fontaine is born with sin. No matter how the nation of justice holds trial after trial, this sin cannot be absolved. Until one day, the water levels in Fontaine will rise, and the sinful people will slowly be drowned. In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
That sounds pretty gloomy. Why are people in Fontaine born with sin? What is that supposed to mean?
There are lots of guesses. Some say that the ancestors of Fontaine stole the power of the seas and stirred its wrath. Others say that the people of Fontaine never heeded the first Hydro Archon's warnings and offended Celestia. But here in Fontaine, evidence is what matters. There hasn't been concrete evidence for any of these claims, so they can only be regarded as conjecture.
If even the people in Fontaine don't know what sin they committed, wouldn't it be better just to ignore the prophecy completely? Why bother feeling guilty all the time?
That's exactly what the people did at first. But in the last few years, the water levels in Fontaine have actually started rising.
Das Meer überflutet nach und nach diese Erinnerung. Danach sind wir an der Reihe.
Many places have already been completely submerged, and now lie beneath the sea.
Many people carry on with their lives as before and shrug it off as a natural phenomenon. But my family and I think that the people of Fontaine shouldn't ignore the possibility, which would end up sentencing them to death. We hope that at least the people who reside near the waterfront can move away before it's too late. So, we've started distributing magic pockets to them. As a magical item, these magic pockets have astonishing capacity. I'm sure they will come in handy when people are moving their belongings.
Oh, Paimon gets it! It's like preparing for a rainy day! But this is more than a bit of rain.
Wenn die Prophezeiung wahr ist, lässt sich diese Katastrophe wirklich nicht abwenden?
Perhaps only absolute power could ever contend with such a catastrophe. But who knows? We're just tiny specks in the grand scheme of things. Now, if you'd like to help, then please give these magic pockets to anyone nearby. Be sure to convince them to take it, regardless of what they say.
Holy sheesh. Das war wieder eine richtig lange Cutscene, ey. Das hatten wir schon mal beim dritten Laternenfestival. Also wenn ihr die Playlist aufruft, könnt ihr dann gehen bei Huthaus Einladung oder so hieß es, glaube ich. Und da war es ja auch fast 50 Minuten nur Dialog. Also ihr könnt, wie gesagt, in den Kommentaren schreiben, wie jetzt so der erste Eindruck war, wie ihr das allgemein so fandet. Aber ich muss sagen, ich fand es ein bisschen zu lang Der Eindruck war relativ schnell klar mit ihr, aber das hätten sie wirklich kürzen können. So, ich werde das jetzt in dieser Episode jetzt nicht mehr in Angriff nehmen. Mein Ziel war es eigentlich, oben diese Statue der 7 mal zu aktivieren, damit wir die Karte wenigstens ein bisschen aufdecken können. Aber naja, das wird jetzt erstmal nicht der Fall sein. Deswegen würde ich mal sagen, machen wir einen Cut. Wie es dann weitergeht, was uns erwartet, was die Bewohner hier so sagen und all diese Sachen werdet ihr dementsprechend in den zukünftigen Episoden sehen. Deswegen empfehle ich euch ein Abo dazulassen, denn so könnt ihr nichts mehr verpassen und gleichzeitig supportet mich ziemlich nice hier auf YouTube. Folgt mir auf meine Social Media Kanälen, die ich ebenfalls verlinkt habe, denn dort poste ich Sachen auch von anderen Spielen. Ansonsten like, dislike, kommentiert meine Videos, Fragen, Anmerkungen, was auch immer. Ich versuche es in der Regel auch zu beantworten und würde mal sagen, bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao, ciao.